Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave, and I'm back. I'm back. And tonight, I'm gonna be talking about this. I'm gonna be talking about something a little bit different than what I usually talk about. I'm gonna be talking about a podcast. I know it's something so different, right? This isn't just any podcast. It's a podcast with a story. And I'll get more into that in a second. But before I do, remind you guys to go ahead and hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed. Hit that like button down below. I said that already. It's been a while. I'm a little rusty. Goodness gracious. I'm on Twitch every Thursday with some of my friends. We sit there, cut a full. Just it's crazy. So make sure you guys are tuning into that. And it's almost the holiday season. It's almost the month of December. So I'll be starting the BrickWall Christmas special soon. But before that, I've got a couple more surprises for y'all. Well, not surprise, but I got some more things I'm going to get to this month. But without further ado, and because I'm already inadvertently a minute and 40-something seconds in because I had a freeze. So, like, if y'all go play this back, it's going to be, like, mad quiet in the beginning. But it happens. So, because I'll be live all the time. So, excuse me. I don't got no water. Oh, well. Anyway, so what I'm going to be talking about is called, this podcast here is called A Quiet Part, well, not A Quiet Part. It's called Quiet Part Loud. It's a horror podcast produced by Monkey Paw Productions, which is the production company that's run by Jordan Peele of, come on, we know Jordan Peele by now. And Gimlet Media is available exclusively on Spotify, which is why I listen to it, obviously, because I have Spotify. It's dope. The podcast, at least. So this show stars Tracy Letts as Rick Egan, a right-wing radio host who is investigating what happened to some Muslim teenagers 8 years after the September 11th attacks. This was released on November 15th, all 12 episodes, and they all run about like 20 to 25 minutes long. And I gotta say, so I heard about this because I saw an interview with Jordan Peele. He's talking about it. They played a little audio clip because it's all audio anyway. But this does, like I mentioned before, this does take place after the around the 9/11 attacks. I think some of it is a little bit before, and then like a vast majority of it though is after, and it has to do with like this. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna read the premise to y'all, and then like I'm gonna be able to kind of explain a little better after that. So the story is set before the presidency of Donald Trump, so it's set pre-Trump era, and follows a right-wing radio host named Rick Egan. After the September 11th attacks, Egan began spreading xenophobic conspiracies about some missing Muslim teenagers, which led him to losing his platform. 8 years after his disgrace, Egan is searching for work on the convention circuit where he meets a woman who provides information about one of the Muslim teenagers reappearing. Egan decides to follow the lead and investigate what really happened. And in the process, Egan runs into a demonic sound monster called the Blank that feeds off of the hatred, divisiveness, and conspiracy-obsessed messages that radio hosts like Egan broadcast to the world. Egan makes some sort of a bargain with the Blank in order to be absolved. So that's kind of a lot of it, but not really a lot of it. Like, it doesn't really like spoil a lot, but it gives you like a good impression of it. So from that, it's like I said, it's all come back to me. So it's like one of the things that led him to losing his platform is like he faked like this whole anthrax attack and everything like that. And he was really like, this dude Rick was a real asshole. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, he's sitting there, he's like, and you see the Muslims, they're all out there, they're terrorists, they're sleeper agents, and we have to combat them. So, and he calls his listeners the Crusaders. So he's like, come on, Crusaders, we're the only defense that can come up here. You see, he basically is like, yo, you see a Muslim, you gotta beat him up. Cause like those attacks that happen, they're all terrorists. Like he's not helping with because if anyone really remembers, I was a little young at the time to really have seen it. but during the time of after the September 11th attacks, or the 9/11 attacks rather, like a lot of Muslim people were pretty much victims of xenophobia. They were, and like I said, I was too young to really have seen any of this go down in a particular way, but just from what I have grown up to understand and know about the world around that time, it was rough on them. It was tough on them. Like people would spread these hate messages. People would tell them, and it does this podcast as with a lot of Jordan Peele productions, but this podcast, when you listen to it, they do a good job of presenting you with how they felt, how the Muslim people felt around that time. You know what I'm saying? How they faced so much adversity and how they faced so much racism and bigotry coming from people who were affected by 9/11. And it was just very interesting how deep they kind of dive into a lot of that. But so what happens is like I mentioned, the blank, rather, it's like this. It's something, and it's kind of explained. Like I did it. The premise I read did a really good job of explaining exactly what it is. And when you listen to the podcast, you do hear a lot more of the origin of it, where it originated from, why it does what it does. So that's really interesting there. The story is very to me, it did kind of rope me in. I listened to all 12 episodes. Like I said, I was given the time to listen to them, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, this is interesting. This is very interesting. The character of Rick was he's not someone you immediately root for. Even by the end of it, I still wasn't really rooting for him. I was more so rooting for the situation that he was in. I'm like, yo, all right, come on, you gotta kind of get out of this. All right, dang, this, okay, what's going on? Okay, all right. I kind of hope he gets out of this because he has this at stake and he has that at stake, and these things are in jeopardy, these things are in danger. So it was really interesting to listen to it from that point of view. Like I said, I didn't really ever side with Rick though. Like even when he was kind of doing the right thing, had his turn, his heroic moments, I was like, man, fuck this guy. Like he's still a piece of shit. It was just crazy because I even said that at one point. I'm listening to him like, man, this dude's still a piece of shit. Like even with the things that were happening in those latter episodes, which I'm not gonna spoil. I was like, nah, I don't care. You still a piece of shit. It kind of, because essentially Rick is just somebody who's just trying to get back from a fall from grace. You know what I mean? Like he's still, everything he's doing still is in self-service to himself until, not even until, like the whole way through is in self-service of himself. You know what I mean? Like it's really not for the other people. It's not really for anybody else. Like, yeah, he does gain a little bit of compassion, but it's not really all that. He's still not really a hero, so to speak. This is it. This kind of reminds me of like the era, because I just vaguely remember listening to stories on tape. You know what I'm saying? Like you put a cassette tape in and you hear stories, you flip it over to the other side, you hear the rest of the story. Yes, I'm that old, but I'm not really old. I'm young and beautiful. But like it kind of reminds me of stuff like that. So I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay. One of the things that's kind of fun about it is that you envision the story. So you create the characters in your head. The guide is there, like, okay, then you got the dialogue, the voices, all that, but you create the rest of it in your head, which I thought was really interesting because even when you get to the monster part of it, it's like you can envision that happening any way that you please. There's no guideline for it. You just know, hey, this is what's going on. These are these people. This is what this sounds like. See it for yourself. So with that said, do I see this as so much of a hard thing? For me, I wasn't really scared. Like I didn't really was walking, was like, oh, like, yeah, I wasn't really scared by anything, but it was thrilling. I was like, wow, whoa, like what's going on? Like it was gripping. Like I say like after like the second episode, I was like, wow, this really got my attention. Now, like at first it kind of did have it a little bit, or I wouldn't have kept listening. But as it kept going, I'm like, wow, okay, wow, what's going wow, that's it. Wow, like I'm hearing these effects and I'm imagining it happen in my head because some you do hear some things like there's a part where this guy bashes his head into a wall and you hear the like you hear the I just made the sound effects, but you hear the sound effects going with it, and then you hear some descriptions and stuff like that, all coming from the characters they're talking. Which is like one of the weird things about it is like some of the dialogue can get a little clunky because you're not seeing it, you're hearing it. So they kind of got to go a little bit of an extra mile to explain to you what exactly is there, so that you can kind of envision it the right way. But it's not like distracting. It's done very, very well. But you could tell, like at least I could tell certain parts. It was like, okay, y'all really trying to convey the point here. Okay, y'all really trying to get me to see what y'all wrote and what y'all are performing and what the actors are performing. Another thing that's kind of awkward about our other performances, though, because it's like while they are reading and while they all do phenomenal jobs with it, it's sometimes just like, wow, okay, you're putting up for. I would like to see how it would look if you were doing an on-camera performance as opposed to just reading something. But that does go to show you like what acting, it does take a lot for certain vocal inflections, because I'm like, well, I couldn't have read it that well. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't have, put that much of an inflection into this and made it sound believable. They make it sound as believable as they can, especially with the story and how the story progresses and gets all out of control and everything like that. Like, so it really is it really is something interesting and it's something different. And so it's like the reason I want to review is because it's like this does kind of function as a mini series. You know what I'm saying? Or it is a mini series, really, and it functions so well at that. I'm like, wow, I can't just listen to this and not talk about it. Like this is actually a really interesting story. It has interesting content, and I'm with this. Like I rock with this. So it was good. Like I said, 12 episodes, all 20-25 minutes each. If you listen to it at work, you getting through about a work day and maybe like maybe a work day and a half. Like you can make it to like a day two and listen to like maybe like the last couple of them, you know what I'm saying, like the finale and everything. But yeah, I had a good time listening to it. It definitely caught my attention. It definitely kept my attention, which I think was the purpose of it. Yeah, and like I said, the story was interesting. The story was very interesting. Some other people who are in this show are let me see. Tracy Letts, like I already mentioned, Tracy Letts, Christina Hendricks, Taron Killam rather, and Arian Moy. Oh, I'm about to mess this name up. Moy. Oh, forgive me if I messed your name up. Yeah, forgive me. I'm not good with names, but yeah, it's good, and it's got a whole lot of other people in there too that just do like background voices, different types of voices. But it's good. I think it's good. I don't know what the reception of this is. Let me see if I can find any type of reception. I mean, this isn't really something that you know. I don't see any type of reception. No, I don't see reception talk. But I mean, for me personally, just this is a different way to experience media. So that's exciting to me. But take that away and just taking it as what it is at face value. My rating for this, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. And because again, like for this to be an audio only experience and for it to have kept my attention and kept my interest for all 12 episodes, especially that last chunk of episodes, like I said, it plays out like a miniseries on TV. So like, of course, like in the beginning, if you're not really hooked into it, you know what I'm saying, it might take you a while to hook into it, but always in that last chunk, that last half of that season, you kind of like, whoa, okay, I've been following this for some time. Okay, it's kind of picking up a little bit. It's interesting. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. So yeah, and it kind of does that. The ending, I will say this about the ending. It seems like it leaves room for some type of continuation. But what I want to see a continuation of it, or rather what I want to hear a continuation of it, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind listening to a continuation or another venture into the audio, um, the audio journey of storytelling, audio storytelling. I wouldn't mind that. That's not an audio book. This isn't an audio book. I say audio storytelling. Oh, this is an audio book. Like, no, it's not what this is. Not audio book. It's a podcast. I wouldn't mind seeing this continue in different forms with different stories and different things like that. And I actually kind of find myself kind of wanting to look into seeing if there are other ones I can listen to like this, like other podcasts that aren't about people just sitting and talking, but are about a story playing out, like a story that someone wrote and got actors to come in and perform these parts. Like I would like to see if there are more of those and if I can have access to those, because it's fun to listen to. It's a fun listen. It definitely shakes up what I usually listen to with podcasts anyway, which is the traditional thing, like I've just mentioned. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, 4 stars. I enjoyed it. If you have Spotify, this is a Spotify exclusive. So if you have Spotify, make sure you check it out. Quiet Part Loud. I keep wanting to say Quiet Place. It's not Quiet Place. It's Quiet Part Loud. It's a podcast, executive produced by Jordan Peele. Make sure you guys check that out. Who created this? I want to give the creators credit as well. The main creator of this here podcast is me. Oh, well, other creators as well are Mimi O'Donnell and Wynn Rosenfield. So, shout out to them for this. But yeah, so that's all I got for you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope y'all like the new hairstyle. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. I said, I promise y'all I was going to do this. You know what I'm saying? That's why I really got on here too. But anyway, y'all enjoy your night. I'm trying to get back here before Thanksgiving to give y'all a Thanksgiving review. I'm trying to get here a couple more times. I actually give a couple more reviews. So I see some interesting stuff lately. But until then, you guys stay easy, stay breezy, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button down below, comment, let me know what you think about this, and if you would listen to this, and if you have listened to it, what you thought. But until next time, like I said, stay easy, stay breezy. Peace. All right, look, I do this every time. Peace.